La Pareja del Sol. The Garveys hadn't stopped bickering since they landed in Malaga. It started with little things. Tim moaning that Claire hadn't packed enough sun cream, Claire snapping back that he'd nearly left the passports at home. Their teenagers, Jake and Ella, rolled their eyes and muttered about how unbearable the holiday already was. By the third day, the arguments had sharpened. "You never listen," Claire hissed across a plate of paella. "All you do is criticize," Tim shot back. The waiter clearing plates bent close and said in careful English, "Careful, you don't want to be heard." Claire frowned. "What do you mean?" The man's gaze flicked to the shimmering horizon. La Pareja del Sol, the couple of the sun. They listen when couples fight. His expression didn't change as he carried the dishes away. That night, back in their rented apartment, the words still nagged. Ella sat scrolling on her phone. "I found it," she whispered. "It's a local story. They say when tourists argue under the Spanish sun, a shadow couple appears. At first you only glimpse them, two people holding hands watching from a distance. But the more the fighting goes on, the closer they get. When the anger turns bitter enough, the real couple disappears when the shadows take their place." Jake scoffed. "That's stupid." But no one laughed. The next day the heat pressed down, relentless. Sweat, queues, missed turns in the rental car. Everything was an excuse to snap. They fought in shops, on the beach, over dinner. And every time someone glimpsed something, reflected in a shop window, standing still on the sand, two figures hand in hand, their faces hidden. By the fifth night, no one joked about the story anymore. The walk back to their apartment was silent. The lamps buzzed, throwing long shadows across the street. At the end of the road stood a man and a woman holding hands. They looked wrong somehow, faces stretched too tight as if made of paper. Claire's stomach dropped. "Do you see them?" she whispered. Tim's hand gripped her arm, his voice thin. "Behind you." She turned. Another couple identical, blocking the way back. Ella screamed, Jake bolted. But whichever way they ran, the shadow pairs were waiting, closing in. Every exit sealed by silent figures, hands linked, faces blank. The Garveys clutched at each other, voices breaking into pleas, apologies, promises. The circle tightened until the shadows were inches away. Then a whisper came, overlapping from every direction, flat and cold. "Stop wasting what you were given." A week later, cleaners entered the vacant apartment. The family's belongings were still neatly packed in their suitcases, passports stacked on the counter. The beds had not been slept in. On the balcony, 4 wooden deck chairs faced the sea. Each chair held a figure of hardened black ash, seated upright, hands linked. The outlines were unmistakable: a man, a woman, 2 children. Their faces had crumbled away in the wind, leaving hollow cavities where eyes and mouths should have been. When one cleaner brushed too close, part of an arm collapsed into powder, scattering across the tiles. That night, as the sun went down, couples walking the beach swore they saw 4 new shadows standing at the tide's edge, hand in hand watching.